There's a basic premise here, that is that if you're here in a body, you're not going to be 100% healed, whole and complete, enlightened, awakened. People are in varying stages of that. But we all can be healers to each other if we allow the healing to transpire through us from the Holy Spirit. But when we want to take charge of the healing, what we think another person should hear or do or say or whatever, because from our limited perspective, we think that's what will heal them, we get into trouble because we're coming from a part of our mind that isn't healed itself. So it's only going to, create more pain and suffering ultimately. Because if you don't have it yourself, the self that doesn't have it can't really give it. You have to allow it to be given through you. So you have to first acknowledge that you don't know, and then ask to be used. And in that space, healing will occur. Now, the Course also says in another section, anywhere where two or more are joined together under one purpose, healing will occur. It occurs faster and easier if both people are doing this, acknowledging that they don't know, inviting the Holy Spirit in, and allowing that to move you. I'm always confronted with things I don't know. What do I know? It's like, but there's a certain level of confidence that comes in the asking if you do it often enough. And when you have that sort of inspired experience where you don't know where this stuff is coming from, or if you're willing to not do anything, that's when you'll get the guidance. You just have to be willing to not know, not do anything, just to be present today. Even say, I don't know. I'm sorry you're going through that. And just want you to know I love you and I'm here for you in any way that I can be. I don't know what to say to you right now. And allow, whether you say that out loud or not, doesn't matter. That's where you become usable, right? And so if there is a thing to say or a thing to do, you can sort of trust what comes next. I can only share from my experience with this, but my experience is there's a certain sort of, I don't want to call it confidence, but it's like confidence or a sense of knowing like this is right, that this has to be said or has to be done, or I don't know. It's just as it's moving, you're lit up by it. It's almost, it often is as healing to you as it is to the other person. First of all, remember, nobody comes to you who isn't you. It's aspects of you coming to you. So whatever they're struggling with, you struggle with. It's not an accident who's showing up. They're a mirror of you. And so when you allow the Holy Spirit to move through you to heal, to give whatever would be healing to that person, it's going to be healing to you. A lot of times I have the experience, like when I'm working with my clients and I'm saying a thing, or even here, the Course in Miracles, when I get that sort of inspired moment, I hear myself saying, wow, you need to listen to this. This is for you too. Like it works for me, right? So I don't know other way to say it to you, but it doesn't matter when you say it or when you do it, but having that sort of humble place where you just get that you don't know, you're willing and you want to help, and you want to be used. Sometimes that means not saying or doing anything. Just being present really is extremely healing. And if there is a thing to say or do, you'll know and you can trust it. The ego's plan for forgiveness is far more widely used than God. So forgiveness is how we heal each other. And remember what forgiveness is the willingness to see the truth in the other, regardless of what they seem to be doing or feeling or experiencing, looking for the truth in them. That is where the real healing occurs. That's why you don't always have to say anything or do anything. If you genuinely hold, this is a child of God, right? An extension of God himself, who may not be aware of that right now. And so it's going through some weird stuff, but I know who they are. Holding that in your mind will touch their mind. They will feel that. And you felt it. You know it when you're around people who hold you high. When they're holding you high and they see you, know that because something moves in you, has room to move up and out from you that doesn't normally have room to do that because you're too busy suppressing it. But another person's ability to see it in you is like allowing it room to come out. So the ego has a plan for forgiveness, and it is not God's or the Holy Spirit's plan. But that's the one that is more widely used because most of the time we're in our ego. And so the ego wants to be in charge, it wants to be right, it wants to know, and it wants other people to see that it knows that it's right and that it's in charge. So this is because it is undertaken by unhealed healers and is therefore of the ego. By definition, he is trying to give what he has not received. So I want to suggest that the act of saying, I don't know, is the act of allowing yourself to be healed so that healing can move from you to the other.